We're just about right on.
25.
Okay, so
That,
the,
we got word of that too.
Yeah.
Thank
the
you for that.
recording has been, put on. We are now live.
Okay, thank you. Meeting has been called to order. Danette, will you call the roll?
I sure will. Tommy Jewell,
Present.
Dan Layden,
Present.
Joseph Lopez.
And we've received no word from him regarding his absence and
No.
do not believe he has submitted a resignation.
Not
Is that
as
the
of-
case? Okay.
Mr. Stewart,
Here, ma'am.
Debbie Strong.
Here.
Debbie Dodge did email, her, meeting is running late, so she's not gonna make it. Michael Wismer,
Here.
Elena Giacci.
And apparently, Dr. Layden received some word from Elena indicating that
I
she
brought
would not-
another article.
Okay. and,
indicating that she would not be here. I'm not sure the nature of, the reason.
If you can just, forward that email to me, so I can,
There's an email, Dr. Layden,
did she tell you verbally or an email?
What?
Elena, about not being here.
I received an email this morning saying, or yesterday, saying she would not be here. But I assumed she notified people, so she's not here.
Okay.
Okay.
That's the best we can do with that. The chair will note that we have a quorum and we will proceed with business. Item 3 is consent agenda. Danette mailed by electronic means. The minutes, is that what you call that? Okay,
Some people do.
There's some hard copies right
that's what that is for. Okay. You all have had an opportunity to look at the minutes.
Yes, sir.
And are there questions, additions, deletions? May the minutes reflect a motion to approve by one of you
So moved.
And second.
and second? Any unreadiness? I said, man, there's some parts of that seem to be rambling a little bit, but I can live with it. I don't have too much heartburn about it. So if those in favor, she cut it down too. Those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, the minutes will stand approved. My understanding is that we have not received any requests for public comment. And there does not appear to be anybody on the Zoom, even though that mode of appearance has been advertised. So public comment going once, going twice, going 3 times. I'll assume there is none. And move to item 5, Sheriff's Office comment. Obviously,
They'll receive email that they won't be here till the beginning of the year.
okay,
That's when they'll start. And I'll send an email about he will give a report on the BHU at the beginning of the year. also.
Well, next year they'll update us on the PHU.
will
So,
that make the report?
well,
probably not.
no, it won't.
Okay,
'Cause
To
the
the
report,
BHU.
Behavioral
Behavioral
health.
Oh, behavioral health, okay.
Behavioral health.
yeah, I don't blame you. We get into this alphabet SOARB and alphabet soup party. And so that's
So he did
appropriate.
email that they weren't coming, but they will be reviewing at the beginning of 2024. And then he would do the report on PHU of the new
yeah,
happenings
I mean,
for the
that's,
new
the,
year.
the email he sent me just said, you will be given an update. So
Mhm.
I don't know who's gonna do it, but
No.
somebody's probably Dianne.
And
So,
I don't mean to go on inappropriately, but the sheriff has been at least recently responsive. I know Mr. Stewart had his concerns and said, Judge, would you reach out to him? And particularly around the holiday party that Dr. Layden's gonna talk about. I shouldn't say party, I guess luncheon.
Gathering.
He reached, I said, hey,
I'm really hoping he comes.
yeah, it would be
Oh,
nice.
be
It would be
thrilled.
nice if he did.
I have a feeling he's incredibly busy.
Yes, enormously. Can we send him a reminder?
I will send it after today's meeting and everything is formalized. I will send electronic/email invite
Mhm.
to everybody.
Please let's
And
remind.
I
Place on your
I
calendar.
want to say that I emailed him personally. and he responded to that email person. Good. So you know, if he doesn't come, it won't be that he didn't commit. He did say, you know, I think he said, I'll try to make it. I don't know. Did I forward that on to you? And
Maybe. But I know that.
he said something like that, right? I
Oh,
at
did he?
least told you that
I-
he had responded.
Sure. Yeah, I knew that he had responded. I just. And he had also responded, I sent an email yesterday, just sort of saying, well, you know, I sent you the report of last month and haven't heard back, but if, you know, if you've got the time. And then he did get back with a response on where he wants the public to respond to, or to, you know, give any input on the Central Corridor Enforcement Operation. So I'm changing the annual report just to reflect that email rather than just not providing anything. So I think, you know, it's certainly with the emails I had sent him with the annual report, apparently they couldn't be opened. And Dianne only got notice of that last weekend, which was a holiday weekend. And then she figured out how to untangle the document for him, and he did get back. So I think, you know, there's a combination of factors, but obviously he's been really busy because every day I'm reading about a new initiative from the sheriff's office for, I don't know, the malls, the Central Corridor, and a lot of different things.
I think we will give that it is a busy time for the sheriff. And so, I mean, that may filter into other discussions that we have as we go along here. But noting that they're not here, I wouldn't want anyone to conclude that it's in obstinance.
No,
So
he's been in touch with us.
yeah. So we can move off that into new business and let Dr. Layden discuss the articles on machine gun scheme. Pardon me.
Okay, so you have the links to 3 articles I've sent. I sent a 4th one. You may have this one, but in case you don't, I made copies. This is a 4th article.
Yeah.
Okay, if you would give it to Jim. Okay, and there's one for Jeanette. Okay, and I've got more. Okay, and Devin, I can send the link. Okay, so you know what this case is about. I was contacted by Jeff Proctor, who is an executive producer of New Mexico in Focus, which is on Friday nights and is repeated on the weekend on Sunday on both KNME and KNMD, Channel 9. I've known Jeff Proctor, I'm guessing, 9 years. He wrote nearly all of the articles in the journal between 2010 and 2014 about APD. That was the peak years for the police shootings. It brought us the DOJ. I've been involved with law enforcement a long time. I did research on violence. I've been a member of organizations peopled with law enforcement people. And so Jeff Proctor and I were in touch. Frankly, I nominated the Journal for an award for their coverage of the police shootings, and they won. Yeah, but now the editor was on the board of the Foundation for Open Government, which issued the award. So maybe it was him.
A little
But it's
self-interest
okay.
there, huh?
Kemp Waltz
Oh,
was
yeah,
on,
yeah.
Kemp was on the board of the foundation. He was a founder. Anyway, but Jeff Proctor did this stellar work on APD, all corners of APD, the entire operation, not just the shootings, but the culture and so forth. So I'm saying we've known each other a long time. Now he contacted me about appearing on New Mexico. I said, no, please contact Judge Jewell, who is the chair of the board, and I declined. And he did, but Judge Jewell was not available, so he came back to me. So I agreed to do this, and this was November 17th. And if you would like a link to the program, I can send it to you. It's okay. I wasn't seeking this activity. And he asked me about the sheriff's board. The first 15 minutes of the program was Matt Risen, the author of these articles, reporting on what this case is about. I will be frank, I think this is very serious, and I think more people will be uncovered. Okay, we've got this fellow here, this unnamed sergeant, but there will be others, and there will be others in the sheriff's department. Now,
The unnamed sergeant, that's a New Mexico State Police.
that's state police
This
officer.
is the armor.
Okay, but Manny and Rudy Moore are mentioned a couple of times in this article. I'm expecting there to be other personnel. I think this may be what Sheriff Allen may find out. I don't know.
Yeah, I think we should be very clear that this is your surmise, but it's not based on any information that has come to us as a board.
I agree. So it's my surmise that more people may be uncovered as being involved, just because of the nature
And
of
when you
it.
say that, you're not attempting to cast aspersions on
I-
anybody in the
I don't
sheriff's
know
office.
anybody,
Yeah,
I,
okay.
my conclusion is this is an important case.
Mhm.
Okay, with a federal indictment. Now, we've got a long way to go. But we learned from this. Anyway, mainly I talked about how the sheriff's board was formed, my interviews with, Jim Colley and Maggie Hurst-Stebbins, and also the independence of the sheriff as an elected official. And that's what I have some special knowledge of. I worked for Bernalillo County for 3 years in the mid-1970s. I worked with 2 sheriffs, Lester Hayes and Joe Wilson. Joe Wilson was removed from office by a judge for backdating a memo authorizing county cars to go to the racetrack, and his undersheriff and his chief deputy, if I'm not mistaken, each went to prison for 6 months. Now, there was another scandal during Joe Wilson's term.
I
There
did
was,
avoid that.
there was a law enforcement administration grant, LEAA. County had an LEAA grant. Now, this is a community story. We had on the board of the county commission at the time, Richard McKee, who was the managing person at KOB Radio, and his 2 reporters, Dianne Diamond, who you may know about. She had
Oh,
a
yeah.
column in the Journal. Dianne Diamond is from Albuquerque. She's a criminal justice person. She discovered the Michael Jackson scandal. Okay,
She didn't discover it. She
Yeah.
just
she
made a lot of money.
Okay, she had a, right, all right, so Diane
Oh,
Diamond and her co-partner, Leo Zaney, uncovered a scandal with the LEAA grant, and it was accurate, and, I know this is the minutes, but, the grants person came to me when I was working at the county. We had offices nearby, and, the finance director wouldn't do anything about the grant, issues. And so the grants officer asked if he should go to the county manager, which meant going over his head. And this is a professional guy, the grants guy, didn't want, I said, yes, you should. And it blew. And okay, so that was Bernalillo County then. I've also interviewed for sheriff's candidates. This is back in 1978 for a political group. And one of my memberships was the American Society for Industrial Security, as is. That's a local chapter. And all people with law enforcement, some retired, some active. And I heard 2 sheriffs speak there. The best of the sheriffs, from what I've heard until now, was Joe Bowditch. Did you know that?
I know Joe very well. His son is still with the FBI.
Yeah, his son is high up muckety muck with the, and Darren White.
I know Darren White.
So, the independence of the sheriff as an elected official. Well, all of the elected officials outside the county commission have independent departments somewhat. They are subject to county ordinances. But in my years at the county, issues arose with the county treasurer at the time, who was Tim Eichenberg, who went on to become state treasurer. And In the assessor's office, the day I became personnel director, 9 employees filed discrimination complaints. The assessor would become a controversial figure in later years. Do you remember? We had.
That's our treasurer.
Yeah, and, okay, so these independent elected officials often feel like nobody can tell them what to do. That's quite. And so I was asked,
Wait. Let me ask you, don't other departments have like an inspector general's office that's in charge of investigating them? Contrary to what the sheriff's office has?
Does the sheriff's office have an inspector
No,
general?
just
They
the
don't.
governor's office, the executive branch.
Who did you piss off?
I don't know.
Yes, I don't think they call them inspectors. They're more like, we do internal and external audits for like
Okay.
every department. We do have, in place, like, people that, audit the departments. You also have an EO, an HR. Under HR, there's EOC. Under legal, they have legal counsel. We also have an ethics and compliance
Mhm.
division that,
Is that for the county?
for the county.
Okay. Sheriffs, as we know, have contractual authority. This was one of my main points, because I was asked how the law letters or the gun letters, what you want to call them, could have been avoided. And I said, I don't think they could have been avoided under state law. And I did speak about how Sheriff Gonzalez said publicly and to his deputies and to his Citizens Academy trainers, because Debbie Dodge told us that she was in the Citizens Academy. She was told that the sheriff had unlimited powers under state law. She was told that. Okay, and he has said that. And
He meaning Sheriff
Sheriff
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez has said this was his perspective, that he had unlimited power. So I told New Mexico and Focus the only way this could change would be to change state law.
Can you say that again? I didn't hear all of it.
I'm
The
sorry.
last sentence, I just didn't hear what you said.
I'm sorry. Okay,
I apologize. I do have a hearing,
that's okay. So do
Deficiency.
I. I have hearing aids.
and part of the way that I overcome it is by looking at people and reading it.
I understand completely.
So I didn't hear your last sentence, that's all I'm
Okay.
saying.
So I said, I told New Mexico and Focus the only way to stop a sheriff from, issuing these kinds of letters is to change state law so that he doesn't have authority to sign contracts. Because that law letter in effect is a contract. I mean, he's applying to get these guns sent.
Is that a contract?
Well, he is
don't know that
putting
we
his
legally
name on a piece of
conclude
paper.
That it's a
Say-
contract, but
Well, false statements he got because he said he was gonna use these to demonstrate the guns here at Bernalillo County. And
Which was not true.
which is not true, which is why he's named. And the
Well,
indictment,
wait, but he's not I mean, I think we need to be very careful. We're on the record here in a county office and I don't think we can cast aspersions on, on saying that he made false statements or whatever, because
no,
we
I'm
don't
saying he's
know.
accused
There's
of making false
he's-
statements.
There's an indictment in which he is not named as a defendant.
No, but he is named, and it is stated that he signed hundreds of letters requesting guns when the allegation is there was no intent to use them. And the sheriff's office had stopped using automatic weapons in 2013.
and pardon my interruption, Dr. Layden,
Please.
but and I don't mean to rush you and get into
I'm
where you're taking
through
us.
when you're ready.
But, I have you on the agenda to talk about the television appearance, and I'm just, are you now in that part of the
That's what
agenda?
I'm talking
Okay.
about what I said, so you'll know what I
Okay.
said. But
Well,
now,
yeah, and I had the opportunity, as I'm sure some of us
Yes.
did, to watch, and I thought you did a very good job.
well, now, thank you kindly for
Uh-huh.
that.
And I thought you steered away from speaking on behalf of the SOARB
I didn't
and-
speak on behalf of.
and explained its history and gave historical perspective about how the sheriff's office or mess got to where it was or where it is. So I thought you did a good job of that, and I appreciate that and wanted to, magnify that and and give you props for doing that, because it was very short notice. I truly could not attend. The rules that we have make me the only person really who can give statements on behalf of the board. And there have been times when our vice chair has stepped into that role and given public comment. It's not an easy thing. And I always
Very
appreciate it.
reluctantly stepped into.
I always appreciate it. So
Very
please,
occasional.
please know that. And I don't know if anybody really has any question about your TV appearance.
Well, this is what I have to say.
Mhm.
If you have questions for me, fine. If you would like a copy of the link, Michael, did you get to see the program? I'll send you the link. Would you like a copy of the link? Did you get to see
I
it?
have a professor and I donate, so I have an app on my
Okay.
TV, and so
We have that
your show is right on.
Thank you.
PBS app.
I saw it.
You saw it and Judge Jewell saw
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Okay.
And it's YouTube.
Would you like a copy?
Yes, YouTube also.
Uh-huh.
So Danette and Michael? Okay, I didn't solicit this, believe me.
You were circumspect in your commentary, Dr. Layden. It's
I
appreciated.
told, the one thing that went wrong is we didn't say it on TV that I was standing in for you, although I said we need to say this on TV, but it didn't get said. But they were told that this isn't, I'm not speaking for SOARB.
I think you made that clear.
I'm glad. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Layden? Okay. Thank you so much.
Place.
Well, I am on the agenda, but actually the SOARB social gathering is another one of your ventures, Dr. Layden.
Oh.
Again, it's appreciated, but would you
Yes, I
repeat for
will.
us what we're doing and when
Okay.
and where?
Okay, so December 19th, which is a week from Tuesday, at the Indian Pueblo Kitchen. I think it's 2401 12th Street Northwest. I called this morning, again, spoke to a manager. They won't take reservations. I said we might have 10 or 12 people. I figure with who shows up and spouses and anybody else. And Esteban said he's coming. I got an RSVP.
Cool.
which is
Excellent. How about
great.
you, Ms. Myers?
I will be there.
You're in, oh, that's wonderful. And we'll remind Daniel and you. Okay, so we just have to be there at 11:30. I'll be there early. And he said not to worry, we're coming early. There'll be plenty of room for whatever size group we have.
Okay.
I will send a email invite now that everything's been verified
Thank you.
to everybody, and I will include the sheriff and his people on the invite. But I think Judge Jewell did mention it to him, so they at least have the date and everything.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
And then Debbie Rod was not able to come today, but she did email that she would be going to the gathering.
If anybody else want to firmly commit, if I haven't,
Yeah.
I'll definitely.
I'm going.
I'm going, my husband, I'm pretty sure.
Great. Michael, are you going?
I'm 90% sure I'll be there.
90%. I told him 10 or 12.
You can count.
Food is good.
Previously committed via
House is
electronic
already-
means.
Is there anybody, like Dr. Layden said, I did specifically communicate with the sheriff. Is there anybody else that I need to communicate with on behalf of the board?
How would you
Julie
feel about
Vada.
my inviting Commissioner Benson?
I don't mind.
I don't have any problem with that if that's your desire.
Okay.
The only reason
I
to
guess
make sure is that
we don't
everybody
want-
else isn't inviting their commissioners. so
Yeah.
They have to send out notices.
We got a meeting, huh?
Well, how many of us have commissioners right now? Michael, I do, Judge, you do.
Mhm. And Dr. Layden, are you at large now?
No, I'm District 5.
So she does as well.
Okay.
It's
I'm
on
a
the
district.
Yeah, it's on the front of it.
Can you tell me, I'm sorry, can you
Sure.
tell me again the address?
I think it's 2401.
Have you been to the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, Michael?
No.
Really?
Okay.
I'll put
just
it on the
north
email.
of I-40 on 12th Street. And, okay, north
Please
side
reserve a little
40 on
time to
12th
go
Street,
through it.
Indian Pueblo Kitchen. And
that I'm an
it's
advocate
north
for it,
of
but
the
you-
cultural
you've been-
center.
Oh,
It's
yes,
attached
sir.
to
You
it,
had the dinner, the luncheon.
but it's at
Yeah.
the north
I
end.
bought earrings for Vicky at the gift shop. So.
Okay.
And I think she's gonna come too.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
good.
As I think my wife will probably come as
She
well.
was there last year.
Yeah, she got there a little late, but she
Boy,
got
when
there.
I'm ranting, raving
your
about
wife
the
told me
SOARB,
she
so I
does.
said I did.
I believe so.
Okay. Jim, do you have a spouse?
I do.
Can she come?
Not that we're prying, Jim.
No.
I've invited her.
Okay.
She will be there, I think.
Okay. I'll find it.
I'll put it on the invite too.
Yeah.
Have you been to the Lowe's on?
I was about to say that.
Michael, have you been to the Lowe's on 12th? You don't get in town.
The
Oh,
what on 12?
6th
Lowe's.
to 12th
And
Street.
the Walgreens
The 6th to
that's
12th
immediately
Street
south.
exit.
And the Quick Trip.
And then north on
Lowe's,
12th,
like the,
just a
you
couple
mean like
blocks, 2
Home Depot
blocks.
and Lowe's?
Yeah.
On the left,
No,
on
I've
the
never
west
been to
side.
Oh, really?
Like go to the one near.
But
me.
it's at the north
If I
end
got-
of the
Really
museum,
My husband's
the
department.
cultural center.
Or the people you employ. I
Ah.
think I wound up paying a whole bunch of money for a sheet of, what do you call that? Sheetrock.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I'm sure these guys just went and bought it.
Yeah.
We were comparing, home repair stories. Anyway,
None of them. good.
thank you again for arranging this, Dr. Layden. And
It
we could,
wasn't much. It
we
was-
couldn't make a reservation last time.
No, we couldn't,
And-
but
and
I
so-
reached Elena
Yeah.
finally. That was the key here.
Mhm.
And I have spoken to them. They know we're coming.
Okay. Wonderful. And I do have Elena down for a listening session, and I don't know if she signed on for that, but it is appropriate that we discuss that. I'm very sorry that she's not here and hope that I haven't ruffled any feathers, yours or hers or otherwise.
I have a question.
Sure.
And I admit, I probably missed a few meetings last year, and missed this issue. I don't recall the linkage with Senator Lopez. And that's the thing that concerns me, is because we're supposed to be apolitical. If we have a meeting that she is sponsoring, are we de facto sort of supporting her?
One, I think I am the one that used title. I'm not sure that Elena in her email said Senator Lopez. And I think she did. You think she did?
Yes.
Okay. I thought, and let me make this point. This is one of the reasons that I said, no, this can't be a SOARB event. Unfortunately, Elena missed the last meeting, and so there wasn't an opportunity for others to ask questions about this. And I just felt uncomfortable being in the position of saying, this is a SOARB special meeting or the like, with the rules that apply to doing that. And I said, okay, well, maybe I can, cast this in terms that it's not a SOARB event, but if
Mhm.
fewer than 4 or fewer members show up, they can take questions. If Elena and Senator Lopez have arranged with an audience for that to happen, great. People can be there and hear what these folks have to say. But I felt uncomfortable knowing that there were these types of questions saying, oh, yeah, let's go full force. I mean, that's just one of the reasons. I think in my email, I also said, I contacted the sheriff. And let's face it, we have been, that relationship started out very good. The honeymoon kind of ended a little bit. And so we were trying to reconcile that relationship. And I shared with the vice chair, I don't want to be in the position of sandbagging him either. We may say, well, they're not participating, so, but I think our charter, I think the ordinance says that we will include the sheriff, that he has the privilege of the floor with us. And so any meeting that we have, I feel it necessary to give him notice of and give him an opportunity, whether personally or through key staff, to appear at. So in that context, I didn't feel comfortable doing that, but if there was an opportunity for some folks, because we haven't had folks, and this goes back, Michael, many meetings, maybe even as far back as some of our initial meetings where we were talking about meeting at the sheriff's
Right.
offices, satellites.
Right.
And Elena said, "Oh, no, we can't do that. You know, we will lose the confidence of people, that are
Her community.
right." And so, you know, we need to take care of the community. And I think we all kind of agree, yeah, we need to take care of the community, but we don't need to estrange the sheriff in taking care of the community. And so we had always kind of envisioned going out on the road, so to speak, in some fashion. This just came up quickly. You know, if the date December 9 had been mentioned previously, I don't specifically recall it.
No, it came up fast. Actually, I have a meeting on the 9th, but I had already said I'd go
Okay.
because I was trying to support her.
Mhm.
Okay, if I may,
Sure.
thank you. Okay. She sees herself as speaking for people on the downside of society who often have encounters with law enforcement that are unpleasant. And if you study law enforcement, you find that that's accurate, that certain groups in society may be more likely to have an unfavorable experience. And so that's, you know, she's saying those people can't go to the sheriff's office. Okay, so there was the goal of have it somewhere else. That was the logic.
Mhm.
But so when I spoke to her on the phone, that I was sympathetic on that point of, yes, we have members of the community who feel that law enforcement isn't respectful. And that's what she sent you all a message praising me for saying things like that.
Mhm.
But that's true. We do have parts of the community. But we need to plan ahead. I can't.
I think I think you've hit the key point there, Dr. Layden. I am just not comfortable, and you know, you mentioned Senator Lopez, and I don't know, is she the director out at this place? No? Yeah, so I don't know how,
The county. It's
it's a county facility? What's her connection to the facility?
She uses that for her political, for her constituency.
I think she's her representative.
She's in the
area,
South
that
Valley.
area.
Yeah,
So
so she uses it for town meetings or whatever with her constituents. And that's her connection to.
So this particular times, and I know you all are the ones that I need to be asking these questions to, but that particular date and time slot was
With Senator Lopez's
Time.
slot, and I guess she offered it to Elena, you know, for SOARB purposes. It's my understanding. I've not talked to Elena about it, but I just want to say you did talk to me about it, and I concur in how you handled it.
okay.
If I may, Judge.
Sure.
We did a run up to a date once before, right?
We did.
Yes.
Correctly.
Uh-huh.
In September.
And it fizzled
Well,
out.
and Elena
Yeah.
said because the sheriff couldn't come, she didn't want to do it, was one of the reasons. But
Okay. I don't
this
have-
time the sheriff couldn't have come either and hadn't actually been officially notified.
And I think in one of those conversations, I probably said, well, you know, if we're not gonna have the sheriff's participation, we're gonna have to move on. But, you know, I didn't mean by saying that we would plan to exclude the sheriff in any fashion. So anyway, you know, I will entertain questions about what I did. I'm pleased to talk to Elena.
I think it was, you made the right call. Absolutely made the right call. I'm just concerned for the future and this linkage with Senator Lopez. If we go this route again, are we signing up to something that implies we're supporting Senator Lopez, which I don't think the board should do. In Elena's last email, she said, Senator Lopez and words to this effect, Senator Lopez and I have decided to cancel this because it's not a SOARB event. When she puts the two together, Senator Lopez and I have decided to cancel it. That concerns me about our inference that we are somehow supporting Senator Lopez. And that's my concern, Judge. I don't care what venue. I think going on the road is a good idea. I think if the sheriff opens up their command centers, that is an invitation to the people to come into my house and
Yeah,
talk to me. You know, I look at it differently than it's an attempt to exclude people. So I agree with you wholeheartedly with what you did and how you did it. It was the best way forward at that point to just say simply, you can attend, but it's not an official SOARB meeting and no more than 4. Perfect answer. I just worry about where we're gonna go in the future with this.
Okay, well expressed. Thank you.
I think that's a very good point, actually, that I hadn't even thought about, but I think that Elena's efforts to, to book time and all that she had a lot of trouble doing it. And through Senator Lopez, she had more access to time at the community centers, but that's not, I think that Michael's point is very well taken. We have to be aware of that.
Sensitive to that,
Yeah.
sure. Jim, did you have comment or question?
Oh, sir. I mean, I can always come up with a comment.
Okay.
I mean, if Elena used Senator Lopez's other first name, other than Senator, said,
Linda Lopez.
Linda Lopez has arranged his spot for us and, disassociated, I'd be a little bit more comfortable with it. But I was just looking through my old emails. I mean, she opined back in September that, well, let's don't do this because the sheriff's not going to be here back in September. So she was already on board that the sheriff or representative really needs to be there if it's going to be a SOARB event.
Mm-hmm.
Can we try to get a public meeting at a command center, a SOARB meeting before we do Elena's meeting? I don't know Linda Lopez personally, but I don't have no reason to think. I've never read anything shady about her.
No.
I don't know
I
that.
don't mean to imply that.
No, okay. So I think it was because she has access to a room and she is in the South Valley, so it is appropriate. And elected officials do show up, county commissioners sitting at meetings like this. So let's get a meeting at a command center. How about March? That's plenty of time. Let's ask for a meeting.
I'm fine. I don't want to splinter this board and maybe,
No, we're not.
you all help me.
No,
And
we
and
want
particularly you, Dr. Layden, if Elena feels like she can't reach out to me and give me explanation, then I've somehow isolated her, and that's not
No,
my
she didn't
intention.
have your phone number. I
Okay.
said I'd get a phone number.
Okay.
She could have emailed me. She emailed me for Daniels. She called me.
Yeah, that's, I guess, on her to some degree, but you all deserve leadership that's not taking sides, that is analyzing and doing stuff that's in the best interest of this board. But I shared with your vice chair, look, I don't mind moving by consensus, but unless there's a clear consensus, I'm not comfortable, saying, oh, okay, well, let's run and jump off the ledge on your behalf. So that's my position. That probably will not change regardless of any conversation. But anyway, I certainly invite Elena to contact me if there's a sense that I'm the stumbling block on this. And to otherwise, it's unfortunate she missed the last meeting. Maybe she had this information prior to that, and some of these questions could have been answered then, but she did miss the last meeting. And to get an email 7 days before the actual event just didn't lend to a lot of this being cleared up. So we just need clarity. And if
And
I don't-
planning.
I don't know that the meeting at the substation has to be before this,
Okay.
but both deserve clarity, planning, and an invitation to the sheriff and others. So that's,
I think we need to ask the sheriff when he can come to a meeting.
we
rather
did in the context of me talking to him about that.
Right,
He said, man, I'd love to do that in the spring.
great.
We can't do it right now, but
Right.
yeah, we'd love to. And Michael?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, I was just gonna say, and he's attempting to make himself accessible to the public and us. So anyway, go
I
ahead.
was just gonna make a suggestion that for the January meeting, we have an agenda item on the calendar for the year. And if the sheriff's gonna be here, perhaps then we could discuss the dates that would be appropriate to go to a command center and then work the other issue of Elena's meetings somewhere in the calendar concept of the year.
What center was this, if you know, didn't it?
South
Linda?
Valley.
Yeah,
Linda Lucas.
uh-huh.
She,
Was it Los Padillas?
yeah, she's like that.
That
kind of
area, uh-huh.
Yeah, down in the South Valley, and I think it extends a little bit.
But I meant specifically where
South
this meeting.
Valley
Oh,
Multipurpose
it's
Center.
Linda? It's it's a county facility.
Is it right on this letter?
It is.
Is that north of Rio Bravo? Is that where that is? The South Valley Multicultural Center? I think it's north of Rio Bravo.
Is it?
Mhm.
Is that right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
or is it south?
And I looked it up.
It's either north or south. Yes, it's pretty far out.
Well, right before, anyway, that's unhealthy.
Yeah, I didn't understand until this meeting right here, that this was Senator Lopez's time at that South Valley Center.
I didn't either.
I didn't know that. When I looked on the website to figure out what is this South Valley Center, it looked like to me that anyone could schedule an event.
Yeah.
Just a question of making a phone call. So I didn't make the link that this was Senator Lopez's time that she was giving to Elena. So
I mean, anyone can schedule, but I guess people schedule way in advance, so it's
Yeah.
very hard to get time on a weekend or in an evening, which is, I guess.
They
like-
have,
Desires.
yeah.
They have preset things that they do, like they do, learning type things, like how to can jelly, how to like have a lot of senior events there. They
Here's
have
where it is.
children events, so they schedule far in advance.
Oh, they're already scheduling tax. I already saw they're ARP tax sessions.
So I had gotten as a session on a
Right,
Friday.
I remember.
Cause I
Oh,
called
it's
them.
north of
They
Cesar.
said we could do it after
Not Rio
one of their
Bravo.
other sessions.
Okay.
But then Elena also set that meeting, in the afternoon, like at 1 o'clock or whatever time it was,
Cesar.
wasn't good for the
This is
people
the-
that she wanted to, to make this available to, wouldn't be available during.
Oh, right on.
No,
Broadway.
that's not it.
Yeah, that's South Broadway.
That's the South Broadway Cultural Center. It's the South Broadway Multicultural.
South Valley.
That
Valley,
one I
yeah.
think is north of Rio Bravo. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
And also with that being said, the staff, like they don't work after a certain time. So they may go to open the doors, but we would have to arrange that ahead of time for an evening. The weekend ones, they do have some Saturday staff, depending on what events are happening there, but they ramp up for that. You know what I mean? They kind of know what events are happening and how to staff appropriately. They don't just have staff there.
So hypothetically, if we were to discuss a 6-month calendar at our January meeting, it sounds like there would be enough lead time to schedule something like
Mhm.
that. If we were to say in January, we want to do it in March or April. It seems like it from what you're describing.
yeah.
When
Certainly
I put in
sounds like.
South Valley Cultural Center, what comes up is South Broadway.
Is that right?
Yeah,
No, it's a different,
well, I'm just telling you what
Danette,
comes up.
can you find it?
It's at 2010 Lara Zola Road Southwest, and that's
Lara
actually pretty
Zola.
close
I
by.
couldn't remember the name of the road. Thank you.
It's pretty close
It's-
by.
Yes, it is. It's
Like-
between Central and Bridge, not far from, let's see. It is in the South Valley, but near South Valley between
Here,
Central and
South Valley
Bridge.
Senior Center.
Right,
South Valley Senior Center.
it's north of Rio Bravo. And actually, Cesar Chavez becomes Dolores Huerta, I think. At that-
Cesar Chavez.
that's right.
Bridge,
Mhm.
doesn't it?
Well, no, it becomes Dolores Huerta before it becomes Bridge, if I'm not
Let me just look
mistaken.
at a map.
You know Dolores.
Yeah.
Caesar's friend.
Mhm.
She's from New Mexico, Dawson.
Yeah,
Judge, if I may.
yes, sir.
May I glom on to Michael's suggestion? Not in a motion yet.
Well, I think it's an agenda item. I don't think we need a motion for that. If
But maybe if we could just do some strategic planning in January, what we'd like to accomplish in the upcoming year.
Yes.
One would be
Yeah.
community outreach, one would be, substation for the sheriff's office, whatever it might be. That would give us kind of a roadmap of what we want to try to achieve.
So you want, on the agenda,
so is it close to 5?
strategic planning for 2024 to include community outreach,
I look everything
meeting
up on
at
that.
the sheriff's
Okay,
facility.
thank you.
We should probably
That's good.
give the
Is
sheriff.
that right, Jim? Is that,
Yeah.
says she captured
I'll
it?
give him, I'll put it in the draft agenda and send it to him, and then
Okay.
I'll say, hey, whatever you guys feel your calendar is here, if you can't get to January, can you send us some dates
Mhm.
or months where
Yeah.
you feel, and also maybe a suggestion which command center or facility to be held at. Because he probably better knows than any of us here which one would, is not as busy or could
Right.
accommodate more people or. I don't know that off the top of my head. so.
Okay, so you're gonna put that on our January agenda
Mhm.
in addition to election.
That elections and then just, update
What's
on commission
the-
meeting.
Debbie, if you know, what's the council meeting for our annual report?
We don't know yet.
No,
We don't know yet,
Yeah, but,
whenever they schedule us.
what Danette told me yesterday was, the sooner we can get our report to them, the better, because then they can put it on the agenda.
Mhm.
So given that we finalized the report and except for change, adding the link to those pages, it's final.
Mhm.
I'm planning to send it to Danette on Monday and then she'll be able to send it out
For routing.
and with copies to everybody on the board.
The commission meets, is it the first and the third or the second and the fourth? When do they meet?
Tuesday. Still on, they don't have their calendar out yet for next year. I think it's every other Tuesday. Do you
Well,
remember
Yeah.
off the top of-
It's every other Tuesday, but I think I might have a calendar. I'll check as you're going on there. I'll forward it to you
Yeah,
by
and
email.
it all depends when we send it, also what they have scheduled, because if
right,
they're already full for that first one, or it's
Right.
gonna be like, some hot topics or whatever, they might push us to the next one, but they try and get us in. Last year, they got us midway through January, or was it the end of January? I can't remember.
It was definitely the
We
end.
were
Yeah.
there twice, because once was just handing in the report officially, which they already had, but hadn't had a chance to read. And then the second time, when that was one of those times when you weren't able to go.
Oh,
And-
okay.
Yeah, and so, I was there and Jim was there and I think Elena was there.
Mhm.
And that was when they asked a whole lot of questions.
Oh, okay.
So,
Usually,
And I-
I just send it in and then. it
Well,
goes
and,
to the route.
if they envision that thing, I would certainly try to be available for all of it, but,
Mhm.
did that seem to work out? They give
Yeah.
them an opportunity to digest it and then come back and be available to them for questions.
yeah, I mean, however they want to do it, because as a practical matter, at the point, if we're formally
Yeah.
giving it to them, they already have it, because
Right.
they've gotten it by email.
Right.
Mhm.
So.
And it's attached to the agenda.
So if they want to ask questions, then they can. If they
Mhm.
want to, I think it was Commissioner Olivas who ended up putting it on the agenda later.
Second time.
Yeah, because he had questions.
Mhm.
And as did the other committee member.
And of course, I think it was last meeting, but I think it has been Jim's practice to kind of meet with him prior to the presentation.
With Benson.
Every
Oh,
quarter,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, my commissioner is Olivas
Okay.
every
And
quarter.
it's mine, and I've met.
and
with her.
Diane's.
And I haven't met with Adrian and she is the chair,
No, the chair is,
Barbara.
Baca.
it's Baca, right.
Did our report reflect that?
Pat Baca.
Do we need to reflect it?
I don't
I,
think you
I
just say
think
to the
the
board. of
forward, the
commissioners.
forward had names a chair. Do you have that up? Make sure
Let's
that,
take a look.
Well, now they may rotate that chair next year.
Well, they.
yeah,
But that's
but
for now.
as we address this report, I want to make sure we're addressing
Yeah.
it to the right person.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the type of change that Jim and, that Michael envisioned in the motion, so
Yeah.
if that needs to change. But check that for me, because I could swear we
Yeah,
did,
I'll take-
Barboa.
That was the year before.
That's right. Because, Vaca had just come in last year, like, presented,
Yeah, they vote in January.
okay.
Obviously, because of the exhibits.
Hmm,
Um,
well, just check that,
Yeah.
forward. That,
do you have it on your computer?
January 2nd is the first Tuesday, but I can't imagine they'll hold a commission meeting that night.
It's
January first.
it's the
January
9th
2nd.
is the first one, and
January
the second one
1st
is the
is Monday.
23rd.
9th and the 23rd, okay.
Yes, sir.
The 9th and the 23rd, okay, are the meeting dates.
Yes,
At least
and it
potential.
depends when it gets routed and then it goes for agenda review and then it gets on the agenda. There's a routing system. that
Okay,
it goes
so
through.
save those nights.
And it just, like I said, it just depends.
And show our pretty faces.
Yes, it does say Chair Barboa, so that change it to
Vaca.
Chair Baca.
Okay.
BACA.
Mhm.
What's the date for our January meeting?
We haven't decided yet.
Well, I think, we have, updates from many of the SOARB subcommittees. This is kind of in line with that. Are there other updates?
Sure.
Would it be wise to ask the sheriff if we could invite Dianne Dosal to the meeting at which the SOARB report is discussed, and if they're gonna discuss it? Because,
The sheriff will be there.
To
at
the commission meeting?
yeah, she's got the most substance in that annual report.
But
But
the
it's
sheriff
our,
will be
our
there.
report. It's
It's-
our,
Okay, so
It's
let,
your-
so we wouldn't want her
okay, just check.
presenting our report. Now, if the
Thank you.
sheriff's reporting to
Okay.
the commission or something, they want.
If a question is raised about BHU that isn't addressed by the report, we would, I assume whoever is presenting it to the commission would say that the person to contact would be, the sheriff or the BHU department.
Right.
And
Anything,
actually, when we were at that meeting, I think the sheriff, they were all there too.
They were
'cause
there.
They were presenting something, but not because we were there. They were there some other.
he would have been very new, huh?
Yes,
This year.
yes.
Anything else of a subcommittee report nature? If not, when do you all, want to meet? I think we've traditionally done the second Friday of the month.
Yeah. So
So
is
that would be
that,
the 12th.
okay, the 12th?
Yes, that would be the 12th, January 12th. And I don't believe that the commission would receive our report on the 9th, but we don't know that.
I'm gonna set it now in December.
Yeah, they'll have it.
I just don't know what meeting they'll put it on. It just depends how it goes through agenda review and.
So any objection to January 12, same time, 1 PM, same place?
Judge, the only comment that I have is having a surgical procedure on the 9th. And I don't know how mobile I'll be. If I'm not here, I don't want any of y'all electing me to anything without talking to me first.
Absolutely.
Why not? Then you better be here.
I'm just kidding, but yeah.
Can we include your vote for yourself? May I carry your proxy for you?
I think you'd be able to be here
Maybe you
by
could be on Zoom.
Zoom.
Well, if I can ambulate, I will be here.
No, but if you can't ambulate.
Oh, could I Zoom share
Yeah.
or Teams or whatever the heck?
Yeah,
whatever the heck
okay,
you
so
do.
then
We do
you'll,
teams.
so then you'll be here.
Yeah,
way or another.
yeah.
If you're feeling up to it now, I don't know what you're having, but
You know how surgeons are. Oh, you'll be fine. It's, we're gonna cut you loose that afternoon and just stay around Denver for another day, then you go home.
oh, you're up in Denver, actually.
Yes, sir.
That's the biggest crock trap coming out of the medical community.
What's that? You'll be fine?
You'll be fine. You'll be out of here quick and recovery will be.
You'll be back on the golf course
So
the
you'll
next
need
day.
this Tylenol.
And the other one is, this is a minimally intrusive procedure. That's. another one that's
It's
full.
only a procedure on
you know.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Beyond these jokes, Godspeed with your surgery, man,
Thanks.
you know.
It's, it's in an unspeakable area.
Sure.
It's relatively minor. I've watched the YouTube video, so.
Ew.
I don't know, we should do that. No, I'm just kidding.
If,
That's as
if,
far as I'm
if we
gonna-
form a
as long as
subcommittee
the
of
light is
men, maybe
green.
we'll feel more comfortable talking about this, but I get your drift.
We do wish you the best
Yeah,
on your
So
surgery.
the
May it
12th
go
is what
smoothly.
we're looking at the 12th.
Okay,
Now, is that the King? No, that'd be the next week.
So the 15th would
Yeah,
be,
15th would be the King Day,
yes. So the county is off the 1st of January
and then the
and the
15th.
15th of
Okay.
January.
And the legislative session then starts the 16th.
Oh.
Mhm.
that's Martin
The day
Luther
after.
King Junior Day.
Okay, anything else to come before the SOARB? If
Are we gonna
not,
have a vote on the January meeting?
we did what?
A vote.
Oh, okay. Any opposition to having January 12th as the meeting date with the same time as usual, 1 PM in
Sounds
this
fine.
location? The record can reflect, if you might, Mr. Wisman, your motion and the vice chair second,
Second,
and unanimity?
yes.
Okay, good deal. May that also be the same for a motion to adjourn.
I
So
so
moved. Oh, second.
Moved and properly seconded. Any opposition?
No, I just assumed that one of the agenda items on the 12th will be the election.
Yes.
Yes.
Election in addition to strategic
Strategic
plan.
plan for 2004. Yeah, now, adjourn, I'm gonna stop the recording.